Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Data Science Sunday, episode 134 since inception. And this is episode 23 for the year, which is the 23rd Data Science Sunday of the year. Welcome. My name is Pablo. I am a data science educator, a data science professional. I also build data science. I also build communities around data science. I develop data science, free data science learning initiatives. I am also curriculum manager, a data science instructor, and I lead the community at Collab Innovation. I lead the data science community at Collab Innovation Hub. Right, so welcome to Data Science Sunday. So we just get started. Data Science Sunday every episode has two sessions. The first session is almost always for the intro side of things, where we have a little bit of interactive session. And the other session is where we just share a bit of knowledge, a bit of technical knowledge, right? I like to share why Data Science Sunday is such an important community for anybody starting out in data science, for anyone interested in continuous learning, anyone interested in building their tech skill, their data science skill around the community. Now, Data Science Sunday is brought to you by Collab Innovation Hub. Collab Innovation Hub is one of the first innovation hubs in Northern Nigeria. We're building a tech ecosystem that is sitting on a lot of pillars: community, tech talents, startups, products, labs, policy advocacy, funding. And we're building an ecosystem. We're connecting with everybody in order to ensure anyone with a tech, looking to build a dream in tech, looking to leverage on tech to advance and change the lives of the folks around them. We have everything in that ecosystem to make that happen. To that end, we've built a lot of things, from infrastructure to community to a pipeline for talent. And we keep pushing the boundaries using community as a for building tech skill and advancing our society. And so to that end, the Data Science Sunday is a part and parcel of what Collab Innovation Hub does towards building tech skills, and also advancing learning and development, connecting learning to the world of work, and getting people to be really efficient with work. So yes, so that's Data Science Sunday. Now, Data Science Sunday is also dedicated to folks who are getting started. We have a data science community. As part of our data science community and our data community, we encourage our learners to, go through all the communities associated with data, from learning data analysis to learning business intelligence, to also connecting with data science and trying to understand the intuition behind these, this learning space and how it connects with the realities in the world. So that's what we do at Collab. And we not only do it for data science, we do it for a lot of tech skills, from cybersecurity to software engineering. All right. So if you're new to Data Science Sunday, we are typically here for everyone getting started, right? We also encourage folks who are continuous learners, trying to build your consistency in the learning gain and growth and development space. So yes, if it's your first time on Data Science Sunday, we'll always encourage you to share. So there are two ways we can connect on Data Science Sundays, more than two or three. So one of it is you can raise up your hand and let us know if it's your first time. We'll just let you speak. Let us know what you're trying to do. What are the challenges you're having? And that's ideal. Additionally, you can also use the in-call message area, because you can see we're streaming on Google Meet based on invite. And also we are live on YouTube, because this is streaming live. So if you're following us live, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you're what your thoughts are. We'll interact with you as we proceed. Right. So yes, let us know if it's your first time. Let us know also what you're doing. Right. I didn't add this. Our data science Sunday is also it's a slight extension of our data science community. We encourage our data science learners to jump on Data Science Sunday. Use it as an opportunity to share what you're doing, the challenges you're having. Now, stuff you share publicly in a forum like this makes it easy for other people to pitch in, let you know what they're doing, or let you know what you could do. Right? It's like a forum. It's like a public Stack Overflow type stuff. Right. And then finally, we like folks to share what they have done for the week. Talk about what you've done for the week. Talk about the challenges you've had. Even if it's a little, if you succeeded at stuff, you did stuff, even no matter how small it is, share. And if you share stuff, then someone else is probably getting started and they might find some inspiration from what you're doing, or you inform them on some other way, to some other perspective for following up something that may be difficult. The learning curve is very, very difficult sometimes. Learning in isolation could be tough. Learning as a community makes you go forward. So let's get it started. So please, let's use this opportunity. Is it your first time on Data Science Sunday? Please feel free to share. Have you done anything for the week you feel like you want to share with folks? Please feel free to share. Have you been learning stuff and you typically want to let us know what you've been doing? Again, feel free to share. While you guys are thinking through your thoughts or what you want to say, I'll share my screen so I can share a few things for today's session. Right. Now, today's session is going to be interesting. I'm going to be in the technical session. I'm going to be talking about data visualization, and some of the stuff I'm going to do. I decided I'm going to test out stuff. I haven't done that before, which is basically try to make sense of something I have learned and see if I can do it live. If I have any issues while doing it live, I'll just use a generative AI tool to help me out. And so that way we get to see what it's like when you're learning and stuff. And so that's what we're going to be doing in the technical session. But again, let's focus on the first session. So what did you achieve from Monday to Saturday or till Sunday? Tomorrow is Monday. It's the start of another week. You want to share, you want to let us know what you've done, please feel free, raise your hand, talk about what you've done, and so we can bounce around ideas. So it's open. By the way, on the screen, what you see is our data science cohort. We have a data science cohort, which is currently going on. It started on the 9th. Hold on, I'm trying to get my annotator to come up. It started on the 9th of June. And so we've had 2 weeks of it. So I will be getting into the 3rd week on Monday. So Mondays and Wednesdays. It's still open for registration. So please feel free to register if you're in Kaduna. Feel free to join our community and get stuff started. Right. So, all right. Anyone want to share what they have done for the week? I mean, if there's none, I'll basically share what I have done for the week, and I can take it from there and then go straight into the technical session. But again, before I move forward, anyone want to share what they've done for the week? Is this your first time? Are you having any challenge? Is there something you're learning and you're having some challenge you want to share with the guys and for folks to help you out? Okay, so while we are at it, I'll share a few things. We have a community called the Data Weekend community. It's called the Data Weekend Community because we have folks who are learning data analysis with Excel on Fridays. On Saturdays, they learn business intelligence. On Sunday, we do data science Sunday. So, well, just figured we just give it a very cheesy name called the Data Weekend. It's free, you can feel free to join the WhatsApp or the Telegram channel. All right, so I just dropped the link on it. I'll pin it here. So please feel free to jump in and then, let us know what you're doing. That's one. Also, I mentioned that the Data Science Sunday is streamed live, as we are at the moment. We are streaming live on YouTube. So if you know anyone, you can just basically jump on the YouTube. I'll share a link to my YouTube channel. Feel free to jump on it and check it out. Right. You can also share it with folks. Just jump on the YouTube channel and you'll see that there's a live session going on. So you can just jump on it. Right. So if you did not get an invite, you can always jump on that. Right, so that's one. What other things do we have? Yes, so I like to share Alan Downey's ThinkStat. So this is it. You can see it on the screen. This is ThinkStat, the third edition, an introduction to probability and statistics for Python programmers. I think it's really important. It's a really cool stuff. Alan Downey made this into notebooks, Google Colab notebooks. So everything is represented as notebook and it's free, so you have access to it. So if you're into your learning data science, you can see it's going to give you an introduction to probability and an introduction to statistics, for Python programmers, and that is super important, right? So please, just by going over here, you can see that the notebooks are here. You can start with the notebooks. It's a Jupyter notebook, but in the cloud, right? And you can basically click on this, and this will give you the first chapter to the book. You can see what the first chapter looks like. You would have to start a spin up a Jupyter Colab instance that would now show you what the book is about. You can see the book is already about, the first chapter is about exploratory data analysis, and there's so much you can pick up from it. You can learn how it is. You can run. You can see that it also has codes. And when you write the code, it also helps you see what it looks like to write code and to learn stuff. At the same time, and you can see that it has notes. These notes are very, very important. You can see it has a context for starting out with probability and statistics for Python programmers. And I think it's really a cool way to learn exploratory data analysis. Really such a cool way to learn that. So feel free to jump on it. It's free. And also, if you feel like you want to support the course, there's something called buying coffee, where you can basically support your cause. And if you're in Nigeria, it's typically supporting somebody's cause with as low as like 8,000 naira, something like that. So see if something you can do. Again, I like the fact that I like it when people can offer services and write out books and shares freely for people to learn. So please jump on this. It makes a lot of sense. And if you know someone else that's getting started in data science, it's also ideal to understand exploratory data analysis and use the tools that are available in statistics with Python, to make decisions. So it's a very cool one. So please jump on it. Right. What else am I sharing? If it's your first time and you haven't, it's your first time doing data science, here is, I'll share Anaconda, the Anaconda distribution. It's a download link for Anaconda. Please feel free to download it. And and you can get started with it. Let something challenge you, right? And that. One last thing, I'm also going to share the Data Science Sunday registration form. Again, if you know anyone who's learning data science and you like them to join in the community of learners, please feel free to share this link with them. Or you can share my YouTube channel, right? So the Data Science YouTube channel already have a live session going on. So again, feel free to jump in on it. All right. I can see that nobody has shared anything for today, so I'm going to share a few things. Oh, please. James, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, James.
So I even have a meeting in a minute, in let's say 5 minutes time, but let me just share this. So when you asked what should we share, I was wrapping through my head to see what will I share that will benefit all of us. So I I started data structure and algorithm like 2 weeks ago because I found that it's a huge part of especially stuff like Turing exam. So, but what I find most interesting in my learning path in this data structures and algorithm is the big O. So, the big O, which inside big O is like a scale that is trying to weigh which code is better. So inside big O, what I find most interesting are the space and time complexity concepts. So space, that's how heavy is your code. Time is how fast will your code get executed. So in software design and in like building systems, even in data science, I remember me and Mr. Pablo, we were talking something about having a nested for loop, and we are like, it's not a best approach unless that's the only thing to do, right? So, Big O is about considering, okay, what is the space complexity? That's how heavy is this code? Because running it on cloud will cost money. Then how fast can we get it? So we are trying as much as we can in designing systems. We are trying to see that we reduce the weight of the code and also try to make it run faster. So that's what Big O is all about: how to capture space and time complexity and make sure that your code is more efficient. Then you now go into data structures and algorithms. These these data structures and algorithms are aimed at showing you a time conscious approach to writing code. So yeah, that's a part of my last week.
Okay. I mean that's awesome. So I just figured while he was sharing stuff, I just used ChatGPT to basically share a non-technical definition of data structures and algorithm. And then what I did was I put a context that we are data science learners, and then so non-technical data science learners. So you can see data structures are ways to organize and store your data, like you organize stuff in your fridge. Using prompts like this typically makes it easy. So again, first off, thank you, James, for sharing. So which makes it sort of interesting for people to just find different ways to approach learning data science and skills that are associated with learning data science, right? So again, thank you, James, for sharing. Right, so you can see data structure typically organizing and storing your data. And I sort of like this analogy where it's like, how you arrange stuff in your fridge. You keep milk in the door, easy to reach. Fruits go in a separate baskets, grouped by types. Eggs stay in their tray, fixed by slots. And for data science, we need to find really intelligent ways to store, group, and retrieve data. Right, so it's sort of cool. If you have like if you have ChatGPT, always try to use this as an opportunity to, when you hear new stuff, try to find out what it is, and try to put in a prompt that explains it to you like like you're a non-technical person, using real life analogies like here, then going on to use a data science analogy like here. And then for algorithms is a step-by-step way of solving problems, right? So basically how to store and retrieve your data, and a step-by-step way of solving problems. So I mean, data structure and algorithm is such a huge thing, right? And so yeah, it's really a cool thing. Here are a few things you can see. Why should data science learners care about data science, data structures and algorithms? Helps you write code better, speed up your processing, debug intelligently, and also take a crack at interviews, right? So you see that James mentioned Turing. Turing is it's a place for getting remote developer jobs, right? And you can see that they work with a lot of top companies. And you can, if you're a data scientist, you can see that there are folks. If you're a data scientist, you can apply at Turing and all. And so he talks about trying to pick this up if you're someone that's looking to advance your knowledge. And also you can see how having a great knowledge of data structures and algorithm, you can take technical interviews. Again, really cool stuff. And of course, there's a sample Python code that goes with it. So again, thank you, James, for sharing. Is there anyone that has something to share they've done for the week? As a matter of fact, with this new one that I've put out here, I'm basically going to rename this what I call interactions. Interactions. And I put it dash and write Data Science Sunday. So this is going to be like an interaction board on my ChatGPT. So yeah. So anyone wanting to share anything they've done for the week? All right. For me, I like to share what I've done for the week. This week was, for me, I think it was really interesting because we were for the data science school, for our data science program. We are in our second week. We concluded our second week. We're getting into the third week. It's a 16 weeks introduction to data science. And what we're doing for the first 16 weeks is trying to get community members who are learning data science to, get put in that heart that gets them, in a way so that they can get into get their heads in the right place to get into learning data science. This week was interesting because we talked about that's the ability to ask good questions, and then we started our first coding session. We spent a major part of the first week folks installing Anaconda distribution, and it's always really enjoyable to see people for the first time using their laptops differently. Most people are generally using their laptops to learn or to watch movies and stuff, but this time you get to use your laptop to do stuff that is different. So and so we started for this week, and we started with an introduction to variables and the data types in Python. Interesting part were the rules for naming and writing variables. So that was one part. So that's the second week concluded. This is the third week. So that means we have 13 weeks to go. See the weeks run, right? So that was one. So really interesting thing for this. I also have stuff. This is my data science mentor program. Tagged it accelerated learning cohorts. It's typically where I use mentorship as a service to help people who are getting started in data science. And today We have our sessions on Thursday, mostly on Thursdays and on Sundays. We have live sessions. Then sometimes we have on Fridays. It used to generally be Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, but it's mostly now Thursdays and Sundays. It typically helps folks who are learning data science and who work. So a lot of the stuff you get to work with are, you have curated contents. You can work from introduction to Python down to machine learning. Today we concluded everything we're doing on data visualization, and for data visualization we had approximately 18 sessions that averaged on average 45 to 1 hour sessions, and they're recorded and shared specifically for the learners. Some of the contents are streamed live, so folks can know that the Data Science Mentor program is a thing. So we wrapped up this for this, and so we'll be going to our final session, which is Introduction to Machine Learning. And so we have done Introduction to Python, Introduction to Pandas, Introduction to Numerical Python, then Introduction to Data Visualizations. All these three tools, data visualization packages, numerical computing packages, data manipulation packages, we'll just wrap everything together and now get into machine learning with it. So that's what it is. So a lot of the stuff we do in this program is example driven, right? So it's going to be cool. Again, I have mentioned over and over again that if you sign up for the Data Science Mentor program, you will have live access. This is the pilot phase. So the second phase will already have a lot of things organized. So if you sign up for this pilot phase, you have live access. So anybody who is there has live access. Whatever it morphs into, they'll always have access to that. So we had a major milestone. So we're in the last session of it. And after the last session, we'll now have our second session, our second cohort. Our second cohort is basically going to be far more organized than the first cohort. So yeah, so that was part of what I did. I also did our 22nd episode of the Tableau Saturday. It was interesting because we have a lot of new learners. A lot of the learners who are for the data science cohort join our data science, our Tableau Saturday program. Let me see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can pull up the flyer for that. It's free access for anybody who wants to also join in on that. What is that? Oh, okay, sorry. I was looking at a different thing. Just a second. We're going to bring this up. Where are you? All right, so this is it. So I'm going to share this. So we had the 22nd episode of Tableau Saturday. So this is what it is. Tableau Saturday, we're learning Tableau. I also joined in we also have a machine learning community. So it's called the Machine Learning Saturdays. Really interesting stuff that goes on there, where folks are learning ML, and every week folks just come and share what they're doing, and all. So this is it. So we have these communities going on at Collab, so you can see them. And of course, this is my own private project. It's part of what I do personally to get folks going. So yeah, so that's this. I'm also trying to I'm restarting my cloud journey, right? I want to take it seriously. So every Friday I try to be at the hub just to help people build on the cloud, because the cloud is also one interesting place. But I'll be giving updates on how that works. Right. So that's what I've done for the week, basically. Of course, there's a lot. I also learn. I learn Tableau. No, I'm on DataCamp. I like I'm sort of like a show off sometimes. I'm on DataCamp, and I typically I learn stuff. You guys see this? I'm on a 154-day streak, so I've been learning stuff every day here for the past 5 months. So you can see I'm learning working with dates and times in Python. So yeah. So these are a few things I've done this week. So that's just it. Again, just so you know, if you've done one thing for the week, that's interesting, right? You can see James just talked about one thing he has done for the week. That's cool. I tried to, a lot of the stuff I do for the week, a lot of them is work, like the data science community that's at Colab. It's part of the work I do as I lead the data science community at Colab, and also Tableau Saturday is part of building the community we have. So don't look at it like I have a lot of things are obligations I have to work with, but of course I like to make personal stuff of my obligations so that they help me develop too. And you can also take a leaf from that. So yeah, so that's for this. So I mean, since we don't have much about folks sharing what they've done for the week, we can just basically jump on today's technical session, right? All right, so on today's technical session, we are going to be looking at stuff. Now, because of today we did two things. We rounded up on data visualization, and so today I decided that I was going to do two things. I was going to look at data visualization from two angles. I was going to build a scatter plot, right, using Matplotlib, and then try to build also a scatter plot using Seaborn, right? I'm going to do them as simple as I can, right? Now, the interesting thing about building these two scatter plots, I'm going to build these scatter plots using the data repository, using data repository. So I'm going to be leveraging on skLens data sets, and I'll be leveraging on Seaborn's data repository. And we'll be using the same data sets, so which is something that is interesting. And I'll try to see if I can, like build visuals on them. I'm going to try as much as I can. Once I do them and I make any mistake, I'm going to find a way to solve it here. It's sort of like a way to build on how I'm learning stuff. And hopefully, as we're learning, some of you pick stuff from it. If I make some mistakes, then some of you can help me correct it. But at the end of the day, what we're going to be having is an interactive session on how to do a few things, right? Yeah, and of course, I have ChatGPT open over here, so we can just interact with it. And we can always ask it any questions, right? So we can just interact and just ask on this. All right, so are we ready? Do we get started? Okay, so two things that's interesting is, so let me just take this guy very close to this place, right? Right, so so I'm going to, today's session is going to be on data visualization, and the focus is on scatter plots. And we're going to look at Matplotlib and Seaborn. So this is what we're going to be doing today. Now, it's, again, to visualize data is an important aspect of data science. As much as there's a technical side to stuff, your ability to visualize your information makes you see insights you typically not notice if you were only looking at statistical numbers, right? Or there's something called the Anscombe's quartet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it Anscombe's quartet, where the intuition behind it is you might have similar maybe summary statistics, however the visuals make things different. So, but again, and generally visualizing your data is really, really important. And so today I'm going to do first visualize data using scatter plots, using Matplotlib, I'm going to use the simplest way of using Matplotlib, which is just like the MATLAB style. I would not, use object-oriented styled visuals. So it's just going to be, straight up stuff. Now, the first thing I want to do to visualize using Matplotlib is I am going to do some, import the packages I need to do this. So the first thing I'll do is to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. So this is one of the first. It goes way back. Matplotlib goes way back for visualizing data. Then I'm going to import Seaborn as SNS. Now Seaborn is pretty new, and so really interesting thing about Seaborn is that it leverages on Matplotlib to render statistical graphs. So it's really cool using this. With Matplotlib, you do a lot of low-level coding, so there's a lot of boilerplate code. With Seaborn, you do a lot of high-level coding, which is you don't really write much. Right, just on the side, right? Typically, in the past, when I used to hear of low-level code, I used to think you just write a few codes. But when it's low-level code, it's you got to create a lot of the low-level, boilerplate part of it. But high level means that you leverage on a lot of APIs that does a lot of stuff for you. So that's what we're doing. So I'm also going to import pandas as PD. Now with pandas, it's for data visualization. So and this works. And then import NumPy as NP. This is for numerical computation and data generation. Really cool for data generation. Then the one I'm going to introduce is from sklearn data sets, right? I'm going to import a data set. Our data set of interest is going to be IRIS, the IRIS data set. The IRIS data set was used, is typically, it's like, it's a huge stuff that's been used and has been used in the data science space. The IRIS data set was used, I think, 1936, was the first time it was done. The data was collected in order to analyze species of the iris plant itself, the iris flower itself. So we're going to use that. So this is it. Look at all, these are the packages we're going to use. Right. So so we're going to get started with doing the first visualization. We're going to do the first visualization with our first visualization. So this is, I call this visualize with Matplotlib. Viz with Matplotlib. Right, so now I already have this. Now I already have the data set here. So what I'm going to do is we typically have to have our data, right? So the first thing I'll do is to say, I'll call this iris. So let's say I call this iris because I'm going to, when I use the iris data set from Seaborn, I'll call that iris underscore data. So iris, I'll load iris. This is the data here. Now the interesting thing about loading data sets from sklearn is that they come like feature matrix, like features matrix. So they have samples and then the features. right? Samples, features, and targets, they come that way. So we're going to see it, right? So I run this. So if I type, if I check the type here and I write iris here, you see that it's an sklearn. Excuse me, it's an sklearn object, for lack of a better term. Now I'm going to also call this features, and inside of it I'm going to call this iris dot. Iris would have data inside of it. You see that it has targets and all, so we have the iris data, right? And then I'll transpose this here. So again, if I check features just to see what's in features, you see that this is what we have. So typically the iris data is really interesting, right? So let me see if I can make this sorry, what's okay. All right, so this is features. This is what we have now. For us to typically make sense of what this iris data set looks like, I'm going to go ahead and show what the data looks like when we get it from Matplotlib, when we get it from Seaborn. So we're going to get the iris data from Seaborn. Okay, someone says, can I share my screen? Guys, please, can you confirm that you can see my screen? I think I have been sharing my screen for a bit. Please, if you can see my screen, can you just put thumbs up? Can you just share your thumbs up if you can see my screen? Okay, so there's Shino, there's Grace. All right, so hi Fadila, please could you refresh your maybe what you're using, so you would get to see what I'm sharing. All right, so so we have to get the iris data from Seaborn. Now, to get the iris data from Seaborn has something called for loading data sets, right? So I can say sns.get. So you can see you can get data set names. So if I use this SNS is representing Seaborn. If I call this, you see that there's a bunch of data sets here. And you can see over here that there's the iris data set. So this is what we're going to be working with. So I'm going to use this so I can get this data set. So I'm going to call this iris_data. And inside I'm going to say sns.load data set, and inside I'm going to use iris. That's what I'm going to call this, iris. And with this, I now have my data in here, iris_data.head, just so we see the first 5 rows. So you see this? That's why when I checked out features here, you notice that one of the first things you see is 5.1. Now, if I put, you see this is 5.1. You can see that this is what you see over here. Look at that. So these are the features we have. So one is typically like it's an array, while the other one is a data frame. Now, part of the things that make the Seaborn really cool is because Seaborn was created at the same time that Pandas was also featured, so they sort of work easily. For Matplotlib has come a long way, and so right now working with Pandas data frames is something that it's getting to do. But in the earliest part of Matplotlib, it was sort of difficult to work with data frames, right? So we now have 2 data sets which are the same, but one is an array and the other is a data frame. Now I'm going to use the array, right? This one, I'm going to use this to visualize our scatter plot, right? Now, remember that these features you see here are the same features here that we're working with. And that's what we're working with here. So it's the data. It doesn't, it's the data it has. And here we didn't feature, we're going to feature two things. We're going to feature mostly the features, not this guide as a label, because when you look at this individual independent features, they say, oh, what it means is this is the species Setosa. So I think it's Setosa virginica and one other one. So it's just what this is. Now, so with this, I mentioned I was going to visualize with Matplotlib. So this is me getting into the Matplotlib scenario. So again, visualize with Matplotlib. Oh, okay. So first is I'm going to go plt.scatter. So again, I did not start off with building like the initial feature of saying the initial figure, or I didn't start off with that. I just went straight with plt.scatter, right? And so that's what I'm going to do. So I go with plt.scatter. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to visualize this. So there's going to be this first one where I can have features with this, right? And this is going to be like the first, it's like the first row, so to speak, or the first column. Please, can you scroll up to where you? Okay, sure, I can. So this is it. So this is where I did my imports, right? Now, so I'm going to start off here by visualizing two features, which is I have features one here, then features 2. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use, there's something called alpha. Alpha means when you're visualizing like different features, you want to show a level of transparency, right? And so I'm going to say alpha. So alpha is from 0.1 to 0.9. So I think the higher it goes to 9, then the level of transparency, it becomes opaque. So we'll do 0.4. Then we are now going to use S, which is, sorry, let me see. S, which is, yes, is a marker size, which also tells us the size of what we're going to do. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to do a lot of, we're going to do something where we will check the size by multiplying the third feature. So we have our first feature here, second feature here, and then we're going to have 100 times feature. Here is going to be 3. So which is going to be one of the third features in what we have going on. Now, second, what we're going to do, we have C. Now, C is typically, again, I'd like to show you what C is. So you see that it's Matplotlib has a lot of boilerplate code right, that goes with it. So you see C here is color markers. See that? That's what the color markers are, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make the color markers the targets. This is the target, and it's also represented as numbers. We're going to make the color markers the target. So it's going to be what's going to be the color that will tell us, oh, for all these features here, this is the possible you know species we're looking at. So here we say iris dot target. So that's what we're going to use. Now we have color maps. Color maps are they help us. You can use it to execute different colors. So depending on your gradient, you can create a color map that has a gradient. So we'll be using a very popular color map called Viridis. It's sort of like greenish, starts off light yellow, greenish, sort of. That's what we're going to use. So this is that. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to use PLT to find our label. And with our label, we're going to say iris dot feature. So with iris, it has feature names, so it will show us our feature names, right? In fact, if you want, I can, if this is iris, this is the iris dot feature name. So you can see that these are the different features we have going on, right? So we're looking at the sepal length, the sepal width, and we have petal length too, and all that. So these are the features, right? So we are going to, because we are looking at this, one of these first features here, we're going to basically come in here and say the first feature here was 0, right? This is the first, this is what's going to be on the x-axis, right? That's why we call it the x label. Then we have plt dot x label, and then we're going to now say iris dot feature names, and then we're going to now focus on also the sepal width. Right, then with this, I'll now say plt dot show and see what comes out of this. Look at that. So you see, this is what like the scatter plot looks like, right? So you can see, why didn't this other part come out? We're supposed to see like a part of this. Supposed to see, it only has sepal width here. I have the feature names. Why? I'm just curious. I wonder why it did not show that. So we have this. Or, you know that there is also something I did not do. I don't know if this matters a lot, but I think I should have started off by putting a style guide. I did not put a style to this, and I don't know if that matters a lot. But so there are different styles to what we visualize. So it's a style sheet. So you can say plt dot use dot style. Look at that, plt dot style dot available. So it just show you a lot of styles we can use. So these are different styles that we can use. We can even use like a dark type of stuff here to visualize stuff. And I'm just thinking maybe, okay, let me use a Seaborn style here. So let's see if that will make it a lot different. So I'll come here and say plt dot use dot style, dot style dot use dot style dot use, and here. So let me try this. All right, so this works. And so let me come back to this visual here and see, like I call this visual here. So does it change? Not much. That's an interesting one. I'm just wondering why this. I told you that like made it different. Okay, so yeah, right. So you can see we have the sepal, which we're supposed to have something here, but typically this is what like a scatter plot looks like, right? And it's basically from this, right? And now the next thing I want to do is go on to visualize, do a scatter plot using the same data from that we just had, or the scatter plot with Seaborn. So this is what I'm going to do. So this is going to be a scatter plot with Seaborn. Scatter plot with Seaborn. Scatter plot dash Seaborn. Right, so this is now we already have the data we're using for this. This is called the IRIS data. We got this from Seaborn's data repository. So it's head. We just look at the first two rows. So this is what we're using. Now you can see that what we looked for, we used sepal width. It was supposed to be sepal width and sepal length. Then we're supposed to now find out the difference with respect to this species here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to visualize this data in a way. I'm going to use something called a context manager, right? I'll use the context manager in a way to try and visualize it. So now with the context manager, I'm going to, show the different things I want, maybe the styles I want or stuff like that. And I go on to do it. So let me see if this really makes some sense. So here, I'm going to I'll use something called the context manager, so which is like width. I'll use the width statement and say with SNS dot axis style. Now this axis style is supposed, you see that it controls the general style. See that there are a bunch of styles. There are different examples of the styles that exist. So there's the dark grid, there is white grid, there are ticks. So let me use white. So I'll use white. So this is the way I want this. Then with the context style, it's like using a for loop. Then I'll now start. So I'm going to now call this S is equals to. Now I'm going to so you can see what we have. I'm going to use this. So this is like a figure level interface. You can use it for a lot of stuff to to bring the different kinds of things we want. So I'm going to start with rel plots. So I'll basically say SNS dot rel plots, yes, and inside of it there's a lot of stuff I can use inside. There's the x-axis and there's the y-axis. Now in the x-axis I want us to have sepal width, and in the y-axis we are going to have I think sepal length. It's supposed to be sepal width and sepal length. Yes, sepal length and sepal width. So in the x-axis here, I'm going to have the sepal width, which is what I'm going to put over here. Then in the y-axis, I'm going to have sepal length. So this is that. Now, we typically want to make these definitions based on colors. So I'll introduce something. There's something called hue. I'm not introducing it, it's a parameter, right? And my thought is, while we're using these parameters, we get to understand how to use this generally. And for folks who haven't done it for the first time, it's typically just, makes you see, oh, this is possible and how we can get these things done. So I'll say hex, no, not hex, rather hue, right? And I'm going to use hue and I'm going to say for species. So it's going to be a lot of determination is going to come from that. Yeah, so this is this. Now the next thing I want to check is my data. So my data is basically the data we're using. So I'm going to use the iris data, right? Then there's going to be kind. You see that there's something called kind here, it should be here, kind. And so by default, I'm going to use scatterplot because that's what I want to use here. So I'm going to say kind, and I'm going to use scatterplot. That's one. Now, next thing is I need to set my labels. So I'm going to say s dot set underscore axis underscore labels. Now, the first one is the x-axis. So this should be sepal length. That's what I'm going to use for the x-axis. I'm going to use the sepal length. So I'll put it over here. No, sepal. Is it sepal length or sepal width? Okay, sepal width. Then the sepal length is going to be the second one here. And yeah. So I think that's that. So let me run this. Hope this works. Yes, it does. So let me go plt.show. Oh wow, okay, you guys see how different these two are. So now you can see that with sepal width and sepal length, we want to see these three aspects of it. This one kind of looks really nice. Why? Right, and this one kind of looks different. Maybe because it's not big enough. It's because we didn't set it big enough, right? Or maybe because of what we used here. Okay, so let me change this one. Let me change this. I'm thinking because of what we use. Let me use a different style. Let's look at what visualizing with maybe dark looks like. So I'm going to take the dark here and put it over here. Let me see. Let me see what visuals this one will come up. Will this come up dark? This one is not even sending this thing. Okay, let me use this one. Run this. Why? No, weird. This it looks weird that our plt.style.use is not even paying attention. Okay, please go ahead.
I think for matplotlib, you have to do the return style back. You have to tell it to return the style back.
How?
At the beginning, you have to tell it use default plot or do something. You have to tell it to go back. If you don't tell it to go back, it will hold on. I'm trying to remember how we put it. Even if you say plus style use, like here we are saying plus style use Seaborn version 8 dark, you still have to come and tell it as a separate line of code to tell it use so style or return back to the default. You keep using the one you're using before if you don't tell it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm still on matplotlib actually on data camp. So
that's weird. Okay, let me use something. Let me introduce something. I don't think I introduced it in the beginning. Let me put my matplotlib inline, and let me see if this basically finds. Okay, I was thinking that would help. I'm sort of surprised that it's not using this. Okay, but I don't know why it's not. But you said I have to write a return statement. I don't know anything about the returns. If you can find out, or you can drop it in the in-call message. But I don't think. Okay, just hold on. Let me open up a new and I'm going to take all the code that is here. and then I'll just run them independently here, just because I feel like maybe some things may have interfered with them. Let me just to be sure. Then let me just try this, because I get a feeling like I just feel like something's different, but I'm just want to try, because I have run some of the codes in there. I've run some other codes before, so I had to get all the codes to run, like, and also let me see what now happens if I run this, and let me see if this is going to be a dark. The dark is going to return this dark stuff. Names underscore features. Uh-oh. Is there something I did wrong? Uh-oh. I didn't create the feature names. Oh, I didn't. Oh yes, I did not create features. All right, so let me just copy this and then right. Okay, this is still the same. So again, I don't know why that turns out that way, but that's weird though. Okay, let me use the default though. Let me use the default. Let's see. Feels like something different happening. Default looks different though. Yeah, but whatever the case is, this is what like our visuals look like differently, and what when we use this. Go ahead, Grace. Go ahead, Grace.
Wondering if after the plt.show, the sign we have behind it, hope is not holding anything back.
Which one? PLT.show. I mean, this? No, I don't think this has anything to do with it. I don't. But what the case is we are seeing two ways for which we can basically visualize data. Just saying, right? We've seen like a different way we can visualize data with both the scatter plots and for scatter plots for PLT, for Matplotlib, and scatter plots for this. Right. So there are different ways, and they serve different things. They serve different purposes, right? One thing that I'll just to close out is one thing that I want to share is that it's with Matplotlib, it is faster to with Seaborn, it's a lot faster to visualize data, right, than write a lot of boilerplate code, right? Like for instance, I can say I can want to visualize everything that is here, and I'll basically say SNS dot pair plot Seaborn dark. All right, Salim says use Seaborn dark. Let's try that again. Seaborn dark. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna use this. Is this part of? Did you pick one of this? I don't see a Seaborn dark here, but let's try this. You can see there isn't Seaborn dark it's not available, so it's not a thing. So it's not. Look at what we have here. These are the ones we have here. what's closest to it is this. There's the dark grid, and there's this. This is the closest to what we have going on, right? And there's also the dark grid. So dark isn't a thing, isn't so yeah, so we typically won't get that, right? So what I also wanted to share is that one thing about Seaborn, which makes it really cool sometimes, is how fast you can use it to get stuff done. For instance, I can use SNF.pairplot, where I can typically use all my data here and then get to visualize stuff. And I'll use hue for species, right? I can say for species, I want to see everything here. And just these two alone, I can call on these two and then go ahead to, yeah, okay, I didn't put this. I'll go ahead to plot plt.show. And so I'll run it. And then with this, you can get to very fast, you can get yourself a visual. So you can see this, how fast this just gets to visualize data. So you can see, which is such an interesting aspect. Let me run it again. It looks like it's too much. It's just there are two plots in one. So if I run this, it's just going to be one plot, so you can see everything, right? So, but this is one thing you can do with Seaborn. We can see how this goes, right? Right. And I don't know, for some reason, I just keep thinking that these guys are playing a major role in it. Let me see if I use dark background and see over here. But again, just so you know, what I was just trying to show is that at the end of what we have done, we can typically use different ways to visualize data. And using different ways to different what they call them, different libraries to visualize our data, and they perform really well. But for one, you have to, it seems like you have to write a lot of code. Aha, you can see, look at that, this worked, right? So you can see over here, let me see. So you can see that this actually worked for this. Yeah. Right. This worked for this. But no, not this. Oh, I get to see while this, yeah, now this worked. Well, what did we say? So I just feel like some of these things didn't work for some reason. Let me use this one. Right, let me use this. And then over here, let's go over here and visualize. You can see that this is dark. This is a dark spot here. So if I run this, oh, look at this. Oh, now it begins to make some sense. Look over here. You can see that it's beginning to change. And if I use this one and run this, it's going to be different. But again, look at that. Visuals now look different, and that now, but we cannot see what's written over here. But again, this is like showing you that with styles, it can cut across. It's a testament to how much Matplotlib and Seaborn interact, their APIs interact. That once we use all this these different visuals, right? Once we use all these different style sheets, they work for both of them, right? Okay, let's try this out. So it's again the testament that one of these APIs interact with each other, and you can use them to good use. So let me see this, and then we can go down here for this visual here. We can go to this visual down here, and just to see what the difference will be. See this visual over here, and then let's see what this visual looks like. this. Yeah, so this looks different. But you can notice that we cannot get to see a lot of what we're doing here. Shino, yeah, please go ahead.
I think why we didn't have the change in one particular one was the plt.show was not what you ran for this one.
This one?
Yeah, I think we are not running it, so it was not updating the
plt.show for this one wasn't updated.
You're not running this. We are running the with NSNS for it. That's why we're having the challenge at the initial point. If you remember.
Do you think
all the others have them? I'm just talking about it's
but
not updating.
This eventually showed now. This eventually
this eventually, but the other one is not showing now.
Yeah, maybe I don't know why, but it must be for some reason, right? But again, you guys can look it up, find out why it's not working, right? But it must be something, and maybe it's something I haven't done right? So maybe, or it's just something I'm missing out on. But whatever the case, it's a learning point for us to figure out how, what's different with this. See that it's changed now, right? Hold on, let me see. The reason why I try not to use this here is that I have to use it outside this context here because, so that we don't get a situation where it runs over and over again. And here, this should now change. And I think with this one, I should be able to see, this you can see this as a dark gray, and we can get to see stuff. Right, so guys, this basically, hopefully, regardless of my apologies for the back and forth, but typically, to pick up something today is that you can visualize stuff using Matplotlib and using Seaborn, both of them, and they interact. Their APIs interact because the Matplotlib API, the Seaborn APIs gets to interact. They rely on Matplotlib for a lot of stuff like to render and a bunch of things, right? So, but at the same time, you can see that with Seaborn, there's a lot of relationship with Pandas, so it can work with the data frames easily. I think it's one of its greatest advantage. Some of the earlier issues with Matplotlib was because Pandas was ahead of it. It had existed like probably a decade before Pandas was created. Then it was sort of hard to like integrate both of them. But I think you can do a lot of, it's come of age. There's been a lot of work done on it. But again, Seaborn just gets to work somewhat seamlessly. So it's just a trade-off between both of them, right? So yeah, so this is our technical session for today, right? Visualizing visualizations, scatterplots and Matplotlib. Scatterplot using Matplotlib and Seaborn. A bunch of things we learned today. We can check out the different styles that you can use as part of your background. We got data from sklearn's datasets, so which means we have there's dataset repository with sklearn, but it comes as arrays. And we also got data from Seaborn's repository that comes as a data frame, and then went on to visualize data for both of them, right? So please, you can watch this again. It's streamed live, right? You can check out my YouTube channel. I shared it in the in-call message, so you can, after this, you can go and check out the YouTube channel and you can watch the live session there. Again, just as we are on it, it's there. And then you can try to test some of this by yourself. You can also get other data sets and try to see how you can look at different relationships. You can find relationships using scatterplots, because scatterplots you can use to find relationships between numerical variables to see if there's some form of relationship with stuff. And then you can use this, which is a categorical variable, to see if you can have different clusters inside of them. Okay, and another thing I introduced is using context managers. I don't know if you guys have used this. So this context manager is really cool. So with this context, we can get to create a bunch of things, right? This is really a cool way to really visualize your data if you want to see it. Well, you can as well just basically throw this up and visualize it. Another thing I want to share is I'll share the Seaborn documentation. I'll drop it in the WhatsApp group and in the Telegram group. You can check them out there. So where are you? Yes. So I've dropped it here, and I've also dropped it in this. Yeah, and the Telegram channel too. Right. So I've dropped it there. Right. Okay. So that's that for today. My hope is we got to learn stuff, right? If there's been anything, what we got to see are possibilities. Possibilities make your learning really interesting, right? And also with Data Science Sunday, you get the opportunity to be consistent with your learning, right? So this is episode 134, the 24th Data Science Sunday of the year. We're fortunate we are yet to miss one. So we have give or take like 20 something more, maybe 29 more. No, is that? Yeah, 29 more Sundays for the end of the year. And hopefully we learn a lot of stuff. All right. Do we have any questions? Do we have anything? Are there folks who wanted to say stuff at the beginning, but figured, okay, since I did not say stuff, I'll probably want to say it right now? Do you have questions? Questions? Do you have any questions? All right. If you're all right, please go ahead.
Okay, just a quick question. I know I can find the answer online, but just for those who may be listening, aside, let's say, like when we're using something on relational plots and all that, aside probably sales and when we did how fast, how well, what other scenarios can one use Matplotlib for visualization?
You can use Matplotlib for a whole lot of scenarios. You want to visualize different kinds of situations. You want to see different kinds of situations from I mean, every situation you can use Seaborn for. You can use it for Matplotlib, right? Everything. It's just that there's a difference. There's a difference in the way you write your code, right? And all that. So you can use it for just about everything. As a matter of fact, there are lots of stuff. There's even the 3D visualization in Matplotlib that is there. So you can use it for just about everything that you want to visualize.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, we have questions. All right, in the absence of any questions for folks, I'll be seeing you. For folks who are in our data science cohort, I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Please go ahead and ask the question.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you very much for the lesson you've been explaining to us since. I just want to ask that, can we find this video on your YouTube channel when we are done?
Yes, please.
Please kindly tell us the name again.
I'll do you better. I will share. I'll just show it over here.
Okay.
Then
And
I'll,
also, if probably, maybe we can find it on the WhatsApp group.
yes, I'll drop it. I'll also drop it to the WhatsApp group.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You are highly welcome. So this is it going on. So I'll just basically share this, or you can always go to the live. If you can see that there's live stream, so you can see this has happened, and you can see all the other things we've had on the live stream. So I'll drop this in the WhatsApp channel, I mean our WhatsApp channel, and also on the Telegram channel. So you'll see them there. Right. Any other questions? Do you guys have questions? So I was mentioning that for the folks will be some of you who are in our data science cohort. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. And we'll continue from our introduction to variables and guidelines for naming variables and data types. Then again, for folks who are interested and you're in Kaduna, please, you can sign up. Registrations are still open. We just had we're going into the third week. Just about the fourth week, we start to close up on registration. But for now, okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. When are we having the next episode?
It's every Sunday. It's Data Science Sunday, so it's every Sunday by 6.
Okay. 6 to 8.
Come again?
I said the same time, 6 to 8.
Yes, please. 6 to 8.
Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Did you fill the form?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll get an invite the next Sunday.
No problem. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, so like I mentioned, for the folks, please, if you know anyone who's interested in starting their data science journey and looking to do that with a community, tell them to come and sign up. You pay for 4 months access to Colab, not just these 2 days, 4 months access to Colab. These are just the days for the classes, but you have 4 months access to Colab. We are super huge on building a community, right? So that's one.
Which touch like it?
Please go ahead. Okay.
If light don't come. Cosinalo you power bank, Cosina. Okay.
All right. So also, if you know anyone who's interested in the data science mentor program, please reach out to me, and then I'll let you know how that works. Right? If you sign up for the data science mentor program at this point, you can have live access, forever access before the second cohort starts. We have recorded sessions, and we also have live sessions. Feel free to jump in, and we have mentorship as a service. Right? Let me know if you're interested. You can also drop a message in the WhatsApp group if that's interested. If to call my attention, or you can send me a DM too. Right? All right, guys. So it's another week. So please remember, organize your week. Every week is just an opportunity for you to keep building on stuff. And please think of things in years rather than in days or months. Right? Also, when you're building a technical skill, remember that technical skills are important when you can use them to solve problems. If you just stack up your technical skill, learn Python, learn all this, but you don't understand how to use them to solve problems, it feels like it's pretty much useless, right? So as you learn stuff, please learn to introduce, try to use to solve a problem, right? Research on what you want to do as a data scientist. Do you want to work in logistics? Do you want to work in the health space? Do you want to work in the financial space? Humanitarian services, government policies, public policies, global policies, international relations? Do you want to be a data science educator? Do you want to build data science content for people to learn and connect to the future of work? All these there are so many areas. Do you want to be a natural language professional, which is, trying to understand sentiments that are in words? Do you want to understand computer vision? which means you're trying to build systems that can, that can get to act like the human eye and understand how stuff work. All these things are pretty important in the space to solve problems, from security to healthcare related issues, to financial inclusion and all. So please make it a duty to know which industry or which area of focus you want to put yourself through, and let today be the start for anybody who just coming here for the first time, and let it also be a form of consistency for anybody that has been keeping up with the Data Science Sunday since the start of the year. Which means if you've been keeping up with the Data Science Sunday from the start of the year, that means you've had 46 hours of learning. Now, imagine if you've done that with a bunch of other things, and that means you're basically building some form of a consistency. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. And we have come to the end of the 23rd Data Science Sunday session.